All right, so here we joined Sienna a little bit later in the fall. And as you can see, she's doing her little yard sale to sell some paintings. In previous episodes, we were trying to raise money. Oh, hi, Dad. We were trying to raise money by doing some odd jobs and doing some of the freelancer career jobs, which is fine. But we're just switching it up a little bit, so it's not all the same thing every time. So this time, this part, we'll be doing some painting. And as you can see, the quality of her paintings has improved. So the amount of money she can take each time gets higher, which is very good, which means, she's kind of proportionately getting more money for her skill, which is great. So we're making, I don't know, twice as much as we used to make per painting, which is awesome. All right, so we want to make sure we get a little bit of FaceTime with the new baby. I still haven't decided on a name. And even if I did, there's no way for me to change it yet. I'm sure that, during the proceedings, she would have had to have chosen a name. So it's a little bit unrealistic in the gameplay. But I do wonder, what's a good name for the baby? Should be a really cute name. But she hasn't really made any final decisions about family. Oh, this guy. Oh. Oh, no. What's happening here? For a while, I had some CC, but it seemed like the farther along I got, like in not using the CC, the farther along I got in doing gameplay and other like parts. For example, like this one where I don't really use any clothing. For some reason, the quality of it went down. I don't understand the graphics, like why the graphics would change, but they just look terrible now. So anyway, this is one thing that is kind of new in the game I haven't noticed. I'm not exactly sure what this is about, and it took me a while to figure out what to do to make it better. And so in the very beginning, I was like super confused, and I was like, wait, really? We're doing everything that I thought she would want, and it's like, no, she hates this. Like, really? Like she's scared, she's unfulfilled. Like, what? It's sad. In any case, we have a very busy morning taking care of the baby. Sienna's a little hungry, but we'll definitely make sure to take care of the baby before we take care of ourselves. And the baby's feeling much better now, which is very good. It's always good to spend time with the baby because it's something that she's really wanted for a long time. Ever since she was a little girl, she would always have her little baby dolls and she would walk around the house with them, pretending to feed them and stuff. I don't know what high school was like for you guys, but we actually had, like, during our health class, it was like half health, half PE, right? And then in the health classes, we had to actually try to take care of like a plastic, like not a plastic bag, like a bag of flour or something really silly like that. It was so bizarre. All right, so make sure we get a little bit of breakfast in for today. I think I'll have her cook something so she can have something prepared for a few days. And we'll go ahead and get started on that. It's starting to rain, which is a little bit unfortunate, but what can you do? All right, so breakfast is served. And this kind of, I don't know what you call it, domestic kind of thing is very comfortable for Sienna because she's just been doing it for such a long time. I wouldn't say that while she was in high school, she was, this heartbroken thing, this is a theme for her. I thought it was because her wish wasn't fulfilled, but you'll see later that's not necessarily the case. Okay, anyway, being a caretaker is something that's very important for her. So doing domestic things around the house should be making her like kind of happy, but maybe not. I don't know. According to her traits, I would assume that it did, but so, I don't know. Sometimes, especially as a young adult, you're still trying to find yourself. So maybe there's more to Sienna that we don't know yet, right? Because she is her own person, right? All right, so we're just going to continue building, and we're going to do a lot of building in this episode. We actually I guess we can say we sort of speed things up a little bit in terms of the building and in terms of relationships. So I'm excited to show that to you later. But here is Paka. So I think what Sienna is starting to feel is she has these two guys, and the two guys are kind of pulling her in two different directions. So when it comes to Paka has always seemed interested in the family aspect of things. And when it comes to Kohei has seemed more interested in the business aspect of things. But when it comes to who she feels would be a more stable person to start a family with, I think she's leaning more towards Kohei. So we'll figure that out a little bit more later. So the visit with Paka today is going to be a very friendly visit. Paka's just going to sort of be hanging out for a little while. They're going to be chatting a little bit. But from what I guess from my opinion about what Paka is about, I think that Paka wants more. Like Paka, I would say that Paka does want a family. And, he was actually the one who helped her with the baby at first. So that's why she doesn't mind letting him be alone with the baby, because she doesn't think that he's a strange person or a bad person. He was the one who actually helped her adopt the baby. So she's not going to be paranoid about him being alone with the baby. But as you can see, he's very kind and he's very gentle with the baby. And, it's not that Sienna doesn't appreciate that. It's just something about the situation that she's not sure. Like, I think she thinks that Paka would be like a great, like, I don't want to say surrogate dad. That sounds kind of weird. But you know what I mean? Like, oh, I need somebody to watch the baby for a while. I'll ask Paka, for example. This kind of thing. And, so she wants to maintain her relationship with him, but she doesn't know that he's like dad material. She feels like, his name is not Paolo. Okay, she feels like Kohei is older. She feels like Kohei has a lot more stability in what he does. Like, Paka's a writer. He's very successful. But I don't know. I think their interests are a lot more in line, but like in terms of stability or in terms of dependability, and then also, considering that she is building her business, I think she thinks that Kohei would be more advantageous to keep closer, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of her thought process. But I feel a little bad for Paka because he's so sweet, he's so cute, and I was like rooting for him. But I have to think about like what would Sienna do. So let's see what we got here. We have enough money to make the loan payment, but I think we're going to do some building first, and then we'll make up some money for that afterwards. So again, the idea with this building is it should be kind of big, fun, kind of playful, kind of colorful. Something that screams Sienna. And Sienna is an incredibly creative person. Another thing I was kind of going back and forth about in terms of relationship. I know that Paka is a writer, and being a writer is something that is very creative. If I had him kind of work with her, I don't know, because she's opening a bookstore. So for example, he would do like some book signings every now and again. Something like that could be cool. I was thinking about that. But in terms of future, like in terms of like long term, I don't know. Paka seems like a really good friend, and yeah, I know what it sounds like. I'm friend zoning Paka, and that sounds terrible. I feel terrible about it because he's such a sweetheart. But we'll see how things go. So I'm just placing some items. None of these items are actually going to be the final items, except for this. This is the bookstore stuff. But nothing that I'm putting down is going to stay here. I'm just sort of scaling it out and seeing how big I want the room to be. And I realized that, that what I had originally planned was too small. So it's definitely going to be a lot bigger than I had planned. So I want it to be more authentic than usual. Whenever I make a build, I always try to add in little rooms and places where most people don't think to add, or else people do, but we know that they're not really functional. So it's just not necessary in everyday gameplay. But for her building, for her store, basically, she will eventually, quote unquote, hire employees, and people will be able to go in there, have a place to stay, sit, relax during their break. But then also have different areas of the store which they're doing something else. Do you know what I mean? So not everybody's just going to be on the book floor trying to sell books. Some people may be in the back doing something else that helps us make money, for example. So we definitely want to make sure that there's enough room for that. And while she likes her trailer, and I love her trailer's adorable and is perfect for her, she also wants to consider, if she's expanding the family, where's the baby going to sleep, right? So that's the reason for the big area on the second floor. We'll see how it works out over time. I may make some changes, but for now, that's the main idea behind it. All right, so we'll jump back in and we'll say goodbye to Paka. Thanks for coming. Bye, Paka. Bye. I feel so bad. But I don't know, maybe secretly down deep, I almost always do things with Paka in my playthroughs. But we don't have enough money for bills. We'll have to, I think we're just going to have to work on that now. I always do things with Paka, and it's like, oh, hey, it's kind of new. It's like, we're definitely not saying goodbye to Paka, you know what I mean? Like, Paka's definitely going to be in our life, but, I don't know. Let's try things with Kohei. Let's see how it goes. No prank calls, thank you. We're good. All right, so I'll have her get started making some paintings. She's plenty inspired at the moment. And these items we've had since the beginning. Like, she paid for them when she moved in. she bought this little not the canvas, the thing that she sells the paintings through. What do you call this thing? The stand? She bought that, and she bought the tent, for example. But these other two items, those creative items, she's had since she moved in. All right, so these paintings should be very good quality, which means we should be able to make a decent amount of money. There's some old lady. Hi, old lady. And here's Mom. I think I said something in the last part or previous part that she never visits just to visit. But I guess the game decided that she was going to be one of those weird farm people who come by and like give you something. When did that start? That started with the farm pack, right? That's weird. But anyway, Mom always has ulterior motives when she comes over. She can't just come to visit. It always has to be something. But we're going to say hi to her in a minute. But as you can see, the baby's kind of upset. So we'll say hi to Mom. We'll take care of the baby. And then we'll keep going with selling things because we definitely need to make our loan payment. It's definitely due. We've definitely been doing things other than making loan payments. And today the weather is mysterious. That's why she was in her summers and now she's in her winters. It's just a strange day in Sim's world. All right, so we make sure we take care of our little baby. Oh, what should the name be? It's something I definitely didn't think about like this whole time. And now I'm just sitting here like, oh, it's baby, baby, baby. But it's our baby now. So what is the baby's name? I don't know. Okay, so we'll head back out. And Mom's still kind of hanging out. But yeah, again, as much as I would love for Sienna to sit down and have a chat with her mom, it would be more realistic. We kind of need Mom to understand, hey, we're kind of hustling here. We don't really have any money. We don't want to ask for money. So we're just going to have to keep working through the night. Oh, she finally gives her that little present. Very weird. And our paintings are selling. Very good, very good. As you can see, some are worth more than others, as per usual. I'm going to talk to Mom for just a little bit. So long as she can do it during the yard sale, I'm not going to send Mom off. They seem very excited. Not excited. I think they're the kind of people, I don't know if you've ever been to China, but people in China always are very loud, even when they're having a good time. So I feel like these two are just always super animated whenever they talk with one another. But it looks like they're getting along. And I like to think that, oh, Mom came over, she had a little gift, maybe she brought something for the baby, like maybe she's just like also trying to bridge the kind of gap, because their relationship hasn't been the best. But we'll say goodbye to Mom and we'll say goodnight. And we join Sienna again on the next day. And of course, because she has the baby, she's not going to be doing as much traveling as she's done before. She has to stay home and watch the baby. So she's not the kind of person who would immediately want to call a babysitter. And if the game were more realistic, you could just take the baby with you, the kind of way that you would take your dog with you. Like if you can take the dog for a walk, I think that putting something like a stroller in the game and just having them push the stroller around when the sim goes for a walk wouldn't be that bad. I don't know. I think it would take a lot of work, but I don't think that it's something that is so far-fetched. Everybody's been asking for the ability to do more with babies in the game, and I wish I could. I wish I could, because here's this is what she's been looking forward to for so long. But, what can you do? All right, so anyway, so as you can see, she's just doing her morning routine, and I'm still worried about this fear of unfulfilled dreams. Like, what? Like, she's doing everything she wanted to do. Why don't you recognize it, game? Please recognize. I literally felt bad. I felt so bad. Like, every time I thought about the fact that she was unhappy for some reason. I don't know what it could be for. I'm like, but we were doing so good. He's like, oh, now all of a sudden she has a baby and the game's like, we don't want this. She literally is family oriented. What do you mean she doesn't want it? But anyway, here she is trying to boost her, confidence just a little bit. And so she's feeling a little bit better now. Yay. All right, so we're just going to keep doing a little bit of work outside the house here. Oh, no, that's right. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now is ask Kohei out on a date, because we've kind of made our little decision, right? So we recognize Paka's strengths, and we also kind of recognize Kohei's strengths, right? And whatever the little bits about what they don't get along about, Sienna knows that a relationship is never going to be perfect. So even though she jibes so well with Paka, she also has to consider the future. She also has to consider who's going to be the better father, who's going to be the better provider, and things like that for her family. And so she just feels like Kohei is older than her, much more established and knowledgeable. And he's the reason why she's able to build so much so fast, like with her business, because he's just been helping her. And so, she kind of wants to, make that a thing. So here we are on our, I don't know, third or so date with Kohei. Fourth date, maybe? They've been going out quite a bit. Every time it's been a little touch and go. Not sure exactly about their chemistry. But we're going to see basically how far we can get with this today. All right, so as you do, I'm just going to be trying to make this a successful date. So here we are listening to some music just because. Okay. So, but I think that's kind of cool. Don't want to really wake the baby, but, I think the baby doesn't mind. So let's start getting to know Kohei a little bit more. See if we can build up the green relationship bar a little bit more. That would be good. Do some of the typical things you do when you're on a date, Uh-oh, there goes the baby. I should have seen this as a sign. This should have been clue number 1. Maybe this isn't a good idea. Okay, so she's actually talking to him about the fear, and he encourages her appropriately. So I saw that as a good sign. But like in hindsight, I don't know, the baby's like crying in the background. I think that should have been the first sign. Okay, but we're just going to take care of the baby really quickly. Give her a little bottle and change her little diapers. And then we'll go back to our date. Wait, was that a thumbs down? I can't rewind it while I'm recording the audio. I hope not. That should have been another sign. Why are you thumbsing down her behavior, Kohei? She's being a great mom. Okay, but so far there's none of those weird, you am I a fool things. That's good. So we'll just keep going. Their green relationship is miserable compared to her and Paka. She's known Paka longer, but has she? They met the same day, didn't they? It's been a while. Was it the same day? It was like the same part, I think it was, but maybe different days. But anyway, Paka's just a neighborhood friend. So she basically met them around the same time, after graduation, high school graduation. Alright, so we finally maxed out this part here. And I don't know, they're a bit compatible with this. What is the hard break? What is that? That should have been my sign number 2. Honestly, that should have been sign number 2. She already fulfilled her fear, no, not fulfilled it, but abated it, I guess. So I thought she would cheer up, but she's still like heartbroken. Why? Okay, but I didn't notice it, I think. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, right? So like here they are becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, right? And it seems like everything's going okay. Yay, he says yes. She's excited, he's excited, right? Yeah, he doesn't show any signs of like, oh, I'm non-committal, this kind of thing. Their green relationship is still miserable. That should have been the next sign. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and end the date because that's about as far as it needs to go. So she goes to share a secret with him, right? Just watch this. Okay, we have a nice sentiment. She's smitten. That's good. That's good. Now look at this here popping up in the corner. What do you mean, sinister personality archetype? What? What? Why? Why after we became boyfriend and girlfriend? Why couldn't we know this before? Like, are you serious? So like, here's strike 3, right? I'm like, okay, but if I hadn't just asked him to be her boyfriend, maybe I would make a different decision. It's too late now. She already asked and he said yes. And now we know he's evil. We don't want an evil boyfriend. What are we going to do? I don't know. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next episode.